welcome everyone to the today's Money School program, a message from the IRS, and today's May 5th, 2020. I just wanted to start out by saying this is a program that's really sponsored by the Money School, but is co-sponsored by UD Cooperative Extension and Delaware Division of Libraries, and we're all pleased to be working together to make these programs available to you. Today, we're really pleased to have Yvette Brooks-Williams from the IRS. She is with the Department of Communication Liaisons, and she is a official title of stakeholder liaison. She's been with the IRS for close to 32 years and we're so pleased to have her be here with us to share her vast knowledge and information, especially now during these special times. So we'll turn it right over to Yvette.
Okay, thank you guys. Thanks everybody for joining, and thank you to the Money School and UD for having me. As Maria said, my name is Yvette Brooks-Williams, and I am the stakeholder liaison for the state of Delaware, and I am honored to be here with you all today. I pray that everyone and their families is safe and doing well during these unprecedented, uncertain, and trying times right now. I know we're all going through it. So today, we're just going to chat a little bit about what's going on with us here at the IRS and how recently passed legislation, also known as the CARES Act, will benefit you. So let's start with the hottest and most popular topic, which is the economic impact payment. So I'm sure you guys have all heard of that. So the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security, which is CARES Act, was signed by the President on March the 27th, 2020, and thus the economic impact payment was born. So the CARES Act provides significant financial relief in the form of tax credits for the recovery rebates for 2020 to individuals and families during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic. The CARES Act further authorizes the Internal Revenue Service to make advance refunds of the recovery rebate credits in calendar year 2020. These advance payments are referred to as economic impact payments. So the payments are up to the following amounts: $2,400 for 2 eligible individuals filing joint returns, $1,200 for each eligible individual, and $500 for each qualifying child claimed by an individual. So one question a lot of people have is when am I going to get my payment? So these payments began in mid-April, and they're going to continue throughout 2020. Are the payments taxable? Everybody wants to know. In my circle of friends, I hear, oh, there's no such thing as free money. The government's going to get us. They're going to tax us some kind of way. So are the payments taxable? Absolutely not. The economic impact payment you receive is not income to you, and you will not owe federal income tax on it. An economic impact payment is an advance credit payment, and therefore will not reduce your refund or increase the amount you owe when you file your 2020 tax return next year. But you should keep a copy of the IRS letter you received later this year listing the amount of your payment. And finally, the economic income payment will not affect an individual's income for government assistance or benefit programs. So we talked about the $500 for each qualifying child. So I just want to give you a little bit more information on that. So the definition of a qualifying child refers to the Internal Revenue Code section 24C, and we use the child tax credit. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that, but the child tax credit requirements for qualifying children. A qualifying child is under the age of 17 and meets other qualifications. And we have a publication 972 that could go deeper in depth for you about that. So here we are about the economic income payments amount. So for the economic income payments, If you are married, filing joint, your adjusted gross income cannot be more than $150,000 in order for you to qualify for the payment. For a head of household, it's $112,500, and all other filing statuses, it's $75,000. And by all other filing statuses, that includes single, married filing separately, and qualified widower. So any of those people, their income cannot exceed $75,000 in order for them to be eligible for the economic income payment. So taxpayers with no qualifying children. Taxpayers with no qualifying children will receive a reduced payment if their adjusted gross income is between, so for married filing joint, if it's between 150,000, so if their adjusted gross income is greater than 150,000, but it's less than 198,000, they will receive a reduced payment. Now, they won't receive any payment at all if their adjusted gross income is greater than 198,000 or more. For head of household, those numbers drop significantly. So if their adjusted gross income is greater than 112,500, but less than 136,500, then they will receive a reduced payment, but they will receive no payment if it's greater than 136,500. All other filing statuses, the phase out is greater than 75,000 and less than 99,000, and they will receive no payment if their adjusted gross income is 99,000 or more. Eligible individuals don't need a minimum income for the payment. However, for higher income individuals, the payment amount is reduced by 5% of the amount that your adjusted gross income exceeds. 75,000 for single, married filing separate, and widowers, 112,500 for head of household, and 150,000 for taxpayers filing a joint return until it reaches zero. So like the $1,200 payment for eligible individuals with no qualifying children and $2,400 for married couples filing a joint return will be reduced to zero once their adjusted gross income reaches the following threshold. So everything you see in the right-hand column, 198,000 for married filing joint, 136,500 for head of household, and 99,000 for all the others. So just a little bit more information for higher income taxpayers with qualifying children. So each of those thresholds amounts increases by $10,000 for each additional qualifying child. So for example, let's say because families with one qualifying child will receive an additional $500 payment, there's $1,700 payment. So the $2,900 for taxpayers filing a joint return will be reduced to zero once their adjusted gross income reaches the following threshold. So for married filing joint, it would be $208,000. I don't know, I said 198 before, but if they have a qualifying child, then that threshold goes up to 208. If they're a head of household, that threshold increases to 146,500, and for all others, it's 109,000. So if you have qualifying child, then it also increases that threshold for the amount of money that you could have as an adjusted gross income. And you can find more information about payments at this website we have on irs.gov. We actually have, and I'll show you later in this presentation, where we have just a page dedicated to coronavirus, because there's so much information out there. And the IRS is committed to helping you get your economic impact payment as soon as possible. The payments, also referred to by some as stimulus payments, are automatic for most taxpayers, and no further action is needed by taxpayers who filed tax returns in 2018 and 2019, most seniors and retirees. So there's no further action required by those groups of people. So who's eligible to receive these payments? You may be eligible to receive a payment if you are a US citizen, a permanent resident, or a qualifying resident alien. You cannot be claimed as a dependent on someone else's return. You have a Social Security number that is valid for employment, and you have adjusted income, adjusted gross income below an amount based on your filing status and the number of your qualifying children. One exception we have here is on the about the Social Security number. So if either spouse is a member of the U.S. Armed Forces at any time during the taxable year, then only one spouse needs to have a valid Social Security number. And again, additional information about the eligibility for payment can be found on Get My Payment Frequently Asked Questions at irs.gov. And then let's talk a little bit about payment delivery. So payment delivery for taxpayers who filed a tax return for 2019 or 2018, payments will be issued by direct deposit. If no direct deposit information is available, payment will be sent by mail. So no additional action is necessary by taxpayers who have already filed their tax returns for this year, for 2019. The IRS will use this information to calculate your payment amount. If you haven't filed for 2019, no worries, we'll just use your 2018 income tax return information. So for these taxpayers, we'll use your 2018 filings to make your economic income payment calculations. So if you need to update your information though, I will also direct you to a link on irs.gov to update your information. So you can use the Get My Payment application to let us know your bank account information if we don't have your direct deposit information already and we haven't sent you your payment. So if you haven't gotten your payment and you don't have direct deposit information from your 2018 or 2019 return, then you can just go to this link on our website and input your direct deposit information and we will send you your payment that way. So people who aren't typically required to file a tax return, how will they get their payments? So people who receive Social Security and Railroad Retirement recipients who are not typically required to file a tax return need to take no action. The IRS will use the information on the form SSA 1099 and form RRB 1099 to generate economic income payments of $1,200 to these individuals, even if they did not file a return in 2018 or 2019. The recipients will receive these payments as a direct deposit or by paper check, just as they would normally receive their benefits. So if they receive their Social Security benefits via direct deposit, that's where they will receive their economic income payment. If they receive their benefits via a check in the mail, that's how they will receive their economic income payment. Social Security disability insurance recipients are also part of this group who don't need to take action. So if you're on SSDI, you will receive your payments the same way as a Social Security recipient or a railroad retirement recipient. So payments for, just as a side note, payments for Social Security, Railroad Retirement, SSI recipients have already had their payments scheduled. These recipients can file a tax return next year to determine their payment based on 2020 and claim any additional amount they were not paid this year, because we're just giving those people $1,200. They could be entitled to more, they could not. So if they think they are, they can file a return, and more information about that will be coming in the coming months. So SSI recipients will receive a $1,200 economic impact payment. I'm going to say EIP, so I don't have to keep saying that. So SSI recipients will receive a $1,200 EIP with no further action needed on their part. The IRS projects the payments for this group will go out no later than early May. So I've already been hearing some of the SSI recipients have received their payments. So moving SSI recipients into the automatic payment category follows weeks of extensive cooperative work between the Social Security Administration, Treasury, IRS, and the Bureau of Fiscal Services. And since SSI recipients typically aren't required to file returns, the IRS had to work extensively with these other government agencies to determine a way to quickly and accurately deliver the EIP payments to this group. Everyone who was entitled to those payments or who received those payments. So for security reasons, the IRS plans to mail a letter about the economic impact payment to the taxpayer's last known address within 15 days after the payment is paid. The letter will provide information on how the payment was made and how to report any failure to receive the payment. If a taxpayer is unsure they're receiving a legitimate letter, the IRS urges them to visit irs.gov first to protect against scam artists. And for most taxpayers, no action will be needed to receive these payments. So what happens is you'll get your payment, and then about 2 weeks later, you should receive a letter. And the letter is just letting you know that we sent the payment. Just in case it didn't reach you or something happened, or you're wondering, oh, I wonder if I was even entitled to a payment, that letter comes out to tell you we paid you. And if you didn't get the payment, it'll also give you information and direction on how to report that you have not received your payment and what steps to take after that. So I have a couple of slides here. If you go to our website, so this next slide shows how to check on the status of your economic impact payments. So filers, you go to Get My Payment. You use the Get My Payment application to check your payment status, confirm your payment type, direct deposit or check, enter your bank account information for direct deposit if we don't have your direct deposit information and we haven't sent you your payment yet. You can also update your bank account or mailing address. So if we don't have your direct deposit information from your 2018 or 2019 return, and we haven't yet sent you your payment, that's when you can use Get My Payment application to let us know where to send your direct deposit. So for 2019 filers, we're going to send your payment using the information you provided with your 2019 tax return, and you won't be able to change it. So for 2018 filers, though, if you need to change your account information or mailing address, file your 2019 taxes as soon as possible. That's the only way to let us know your new information. We're currently not able to process paper returns due to the COVID outbreak, so electronically is the best way to go at this point. And for non-filers, you're going to enter your payment information here. If you don't file taxes, use the non-filers. Enter your payment info here application to provide simple information so you can get your payment. You should use this application if you didn't file a 2018 or 2019 federal income tax return because your gross income was under $12,200 or $24,400 for married couples. This includes people who had no income, or you should use this application if you weren't required to file a return for 2018 or 2019 or for other reasons. Do not use this application if you receive the benefits below. So if you receive these benefits, we already have your information and we're going to send you the $1,200. SS, Social Security, retirement, disability, survivor benefits, supplemental Social Security and income, recipients of Veteran Affairs income, and railroad retirement and survivor benefits. And a special note, people in these groups who have qualifying children under age 17 can use this application to claim the $500 payment per child, but they have the deadline for them to do that is today. So if you know anybody who receives any of those types of income or benefits, social SSDI, SSI, Veteran Affairs benefits, railroad retirement and survivor benefits, and they have a qualifying child that they would like to get the additional $500 for, that the deadline for them to apply for that is today. So if you know anybody, please let them know to get it in today. Get to the next slide for me. So when you click on Get My Payment, the first screen you see reminds you that this U.S. government system is for authorized use only. So you're going to click OK, and then the next screen you see is shown on this slide. This is where you enter your Social Security number, date of birth, and your address. And if you get the error message, why am I receiving an error message when entering my personal information or tax information? So to ensure the information is entered correctly, please use the help tips provided when entering the information requested to verify your identity. If the information you enter does not match our records, you will receive an error message. So check the information requested to ensure that you have entered it correctly. You may want to check your most recent tax return or consider if there is a different way to enter your street address. You may also verify how your address is formatted with the United States Postal Service by entering your address in the United States Postal Service. It's like the USPS zip lookup tool, and then enter your address and to get my payment exactly as it appears on file with the United States Postal Service. If you still receive an error when entering, like if you receive an error when entering your adjusted gross income, refund amount, or amount you owed, make sure you are entering the numbers exactly as they appear on your Form 1040 or tax transcript. If the numbers from your 2019 tax return are not accepted, try the numbers from your 2018 tax return instead. If the information you entered does not match our records 3 times within 24 hours, you will be locked out of Get My Payment for 24 hours for security reasons. You will be able to access the application again after 24 hours. There is no need to contact the IRS. You're just going to be locked out for 24 hours, and it's for your protection. We want to make sure that people aren't just trying different things to get into your personal information, so we lock you out. So this next one, the next slide, please, Maria. So non-filers enter payment info. SSI and Veterans Affairs benefit recipients with dependents register by May 5th. I just talked about that. So you have to register by May 5th if you receive SSI or VA benefits, have qualifying children under the age of 17, and didn't file a tax return in 2018 or 2019. You're going to use the non-filers enter payment info here tool below to register to have $500 per child added to the $1,200 EIP payment you'll receive. Do not use this tool if you will be filing a 2019 return. If you are required to file a return, file your tax return by May 5th to receive the full amount of your economic income impact payment this year. Using the tool instead of filing your 2019 return will slow down processing of your tax return and receiving any tax refund. So here's a link to see all text from this page. You can just go to irs.gov/coronavirus/non-filers enter payment info here. So it's just important information for those non-filers. And then here is a non-filers enter payment info tool again. And then this page, so Maria, I'm on slide 19. One more. Yeah, one more, sorry. Yep, here we go. So this page shows you what you need to enter, what you have to enter to create an account. And then the next page, this page shows the information you'll need to enter in the non-filer application. Here, you're going to select your filing status, which is either single for 1 person or married, filing joint for 2 people. You'll enter your name and address. There's a question that you'll need to answer, though. It says, if you or your spouse can be claimed as a dependent, you will not be eligible for the economic income payment, impact payment, I'm sorry. So you got to answer that question if somebody can claim you as a dependent. And if they can, you will not receive the EIP. Okay, next page, please. So on this page, you enter your dependents and your banking information. If you have been issued an identity protection PIN, you enter it here as well. So what's an identity protection PIN? It's a 6-digit number assigned to eligible taxpayers to help prevent the misuse of their Social Security number on fraudulent federal income tax returns. An IP PIN helps the IRS verify a taxpayer's identity and accept their electronic or paper tax return. When you have an IP PIN, it prevents someone else from filing a tax return with your Social Security number. And who's eligible for an IP PIN? So if you're a confirmed victim of identity theft and the IRS has resolved your tax account issues, we will mail you a CP01A notice with your IP PIN on it. If you live in one of 20 locations, you are eligible for the online IP PIN opt-in program. So to be eligible to opt in to get an IP PIN, you must have filed a federal return last year as a resident of Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, DC, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Maryland, Michigan, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Texas, or Washington. So Delawareans, yes, you can opt in to get an IP PIN. Okay, on the next page, you enter your information from your 2018 return if you filed one. If you didn't file a return, you enter a 0. And then on this last page is where you sign the return. And then you're going to need to verify your email address on the next page. Yeah, one more page, Maria. This is the page. Yeah, here we are. This is the page you're going to verify your email address. Let's see, we're in there. Okay, and then for security purposes, you will be given a code and you need to enter it into the box. So once you verify your email address, we will send you a code to your email, and that code that we send you, you will enter into this box. And then this is the last page. When you select File Now, your return will be submitted to the IRS. So this next page is on our frequently asked questions page, and it's just a link to show where all our FAQs are, and they provide a general overview of the tool, the system requirements, help with how to prepare and submit your information, how to print it, how to make corrections, and how to deal with rejects and errors. So does anybody have any questions on the EIP payment before we talk about scams and things like that?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So because we're talking about payments and money, of course, we need to talk about scams and how to avoid them. It seems like the scammers come out of the woodworks when payments and emergencies happen where the IRS is issuing money. So the IRS does not, well, first and foremost, we want to remind taxpayers to never give out personal or financial information to anyone alleging to represent the IRS on a social media platform or in unsolicited emails, texts, or calls. The IRS does not initiate contact with taxpayers by email, by text messages, or social media channels to request personal or financial information. Thousands of people have lost millions of dollars in their personal information to tax scams. Scammers use the regular mail, telephones, or email to set up individuals, businesses, payrolls, and tax professionals. So we like it if you could recognize the telltale signs of a scam. So many taxpayers have encountered individuals impersonating IRS officials in person, over the phone, via email. Don't get scammed. We want you to understand how and when the IRS contacts taxpayers and help you to determine whether a contact you may have received is truly from an IRS employee. The IRS initiates most contacts through regular mail delivered by the USPS, so from the post office. However, there are special circumstances in which the IRS will call or come to a home or business, such as when, like if you have an overdue tax bill, if we need to come out to secure a delinquent tax return or a delinquent employment tax payment, or to tour your business as part of an audit or doing a criminal investigation. And even when we come out to do any of those things, the taxpayer, you're going to get a letter first. You're going to get a letter, which we call notices, from the IRS in the mail. Before, we're not just going to show up to your door. We send you a letter before we do that. And note, these are things that the IRS will never do. But will never call to demand immediate payment using a specific payment method, such as a prepaid debit card, gift card, or a wire transfer. Generally, the IRS will first mail a bill to any taxpayer who owes taxes. We will never demand that you pay taxes without the opportunity to question or appeal the amount that we say you owe. You should also be advised of your rights as a taxpayer. And the last thing is, we'll never threaten to bring in local police, immigration officers, or other law enforcement to have you arrested for not paying. The IRS also cannot revoke your driver's license, your business licenses, or your immigration status. Threats like these are common tactics scam artists use to trick victims into buying into their schemes. And then, okay, Maria, we can go to the next slide. So lastly, if you don't have any questions about the scams, we're going to move on to filing and payment deadlines. And I'm just going to give you, highlight some basic facts about the filing and paying deadlines for 2020. So most people are already aware that the IRS deadline to file and pay their income taxes is now July 15th, 2020. So tax filing and payment deadline extended. You're going to file as soon as possible to claim refunds. Filing due date not extended. Okay, the filing due date is not extended for certain payments and filings. Request an extension if you need one. So no action, Maria, you could go to the next page. No action is needed for this July 15th extension. It's across the board for everybody. There are some self-help options available, but some of our self-help options, such as walking into a taxpayer assistance center for help and calling the 1-800 number. A lot of those are closed right now due to COVID. If you had a refund from 2016, I'm not sure if you all know that you have 3 years to claim a refund from the IRS. And once you go beyond that 3 years, then you forfeited that refund. So because of COVID-19, if you had a 2016 refund return that would have been due on April 15th, that has been extended until July 15th as well. And one thing that hasn't been extended to July 15th is estimated payment. So if you had an estimated payment due on April 15th, that has been extended till June 15th, not July. Extension requests post July 15th, you can request those online if possible. So if you need an extension to file your personal tax return, you would use form 4868, and that form would give you an extension until October 15th. So just be mindful that that extension is an extension of time to file, not pay. And penalties and interest will begin to accrue on any remaining unpaid balances as of July 16th, 2020. So you will automatically avoid interest and penalties on the taxes paid by July 15th. And we have, again, frequently asked questions on most questions about the COVID-19 extensions. So this next page is just a screenshot. So all of the information that we discussed today is available on the IRS homepage and on the Coronavirus Tax Relief and Economic Impact Payments page on www.irs.gov. So when you first go to irs.gov, this is the first screen that you'll see. And most of the information that I've shared with you today, you can get to from this page, whether you click the first link for the non-filer stuff or the second link for the coronavirus relief stuff. But everything that we've talked about today, you can get to from this page. And then on the next page, you can also keep up with what's happening in our neck of the woods by following us on social media. But just be cautioned that when using social media to connect with us, verify the accounts first by going to irs.gov/social media. Taxpayers are urged to watch for IRS impersonators and other scammers, which can try imitating the IRS during crisis situations and natural disasters. So I've enjoyed my time with you guys. I appreciate you sticking in there through our technical difficulties, and I'd like to spend any remaining time answering some of your questions.
I have a question, Yvette, in
Yes,
regards to the deadlines. So at one point you said that the deadline to file your 2019 taxes in order to receive your full EIP payment is May 5th. So if you file your taxes after May 5th, does that mean your EIP payment is going to be less?
No, so that deadline of May the 5th is just for people who are non-filers who receive
Okay.
VA or SSI.
Okay. Okay.
That's just for them, because most people have filed a 2018 return. So whether we get your 2019 right now or not, you would have gotten your EIP payment based on your 2018 return.
And another question.
Mhm.
What if someone just filed their 2018? Like last week, they just filed 2018. If I read correctly, they would need to also file their 2019 in order to get that payment? Okay.
Yep.
This tax and stuff is confusing.
It's not.
So happy we have you here.
It's not. Says the person who's been here for almost 33 years.
That's right.
Anybody else have questions?
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Oh,
So-
thank you guys for joining. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed my time with you.
So I'm going to post in the chat a URL for a post-program survey. We're hoping that you can just, you can copy it, right, and then paste it into your website, your URL on your search engine.
Mm-hmm.
If you would just go there quickly and fill out maybe 3 or 4 questions, so it's not a lot, but this is giving Jasmine and I some assistance in knowing what else you want to learn about and how our programming is going for today and as well. So I guess I had a question though for Yvette about some of the kind of the loan situation that's happening and how that may impact taxes into the future. So if I get a small business loan, right?
I was just going to say, do you mean like the payroll protection loan and the idle loan?
Yes, all of those.
Okay, so what's your question on them?
So if I'm a small business person and I apply for one of those loans, how does it have implications for my tax filing, I guess?
So it depends on how you use those funds. But the one part that's up in the air about whether it's going to have an implication is we just had a notice come out, and that was in relation to if you've received a idle loan or a PPP loan, and you use any part of that loan for expenses for your business, you can't deduct those expenses on your tax when you file your small business tax return.
Okay, well that makes sense.
But there are CPAs out there trying to fight it, but right now that's our position. And it just kind of boils down to you cannot take a deduction for money that we're not even making
you didn't earn, right?
Right. Yeah. So it's like tax-free money that you're using for your expenses, but you still want to deduct the expenses. It's like a double benefit. So stay tuned, because there's lots of fighting going on about that right now.
I'm sure. Seems.
And then the other thing is the forgiveness of those loans. I don't know if so I know that SBA has held calls about these loans and the payroll protection program. They started them back in March the 18th, and actually the last call is today. Is actually going on while we're on, because it was going on every day from 3 to 4. But they were answering all these questions about those loans and
Okay.
where you were, how to fill out the loan applications.
Mhm,
You know,
mhm.
it was really informative. We partnered with them, so I did that call every day from 3 to 4 with them as well to answer the IRS part of it.
Wow.
But it was a great benefit to the stakeholders, the small business owners, because the law can be a little bit confused. I don't know if any of you have had the pleasure of looking at the CARES Act, but it's a little daunting.
Yeah, I got cross-eyed.
Yeah, it was a little daunting. I mean, there are specific parts that I needed to know about, but just like perusing through some of that stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, what in the world? It was like 800 or 900 pages to this act.
Mhm,
It was a bit much.
mhm. Yep. Yes. Well, thank you so much. You've been so informative, and
Yes, thank you.
certainly as things evolve, if there's some other wonderful tidbits you'd like to share, I'm sure we could do this again. And as Jasmine said, we did record today. I did try and pause it in between when we kind of lost the technology a little bit, so it might be a little rough of a
Okay.
recording, but we recorded it, and I'll try and get that out and posted as soon as I can. So
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Thank
thank you.
you, Yvette. Always
Have a great
wonderful.
day.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thanks,
you
You
all for
everyone.
too.
attending.
Bye.
All right. Take care.